So the Wooden Walls Project is an initiative that started it was probably started in my brain in 2009, but to actually see light of day was 2015. This one came from the idea in Miami, Florida, where a section of Miami that was absolutely devastated and run down and was brought back to life by a real estate developer who saw not only like the benefits to developing a community through art, but like really engaging in making art the center of the development story by hiring artists to do it, by giving them platform to do it, by giving them walls for a voice to do it. In 2012, we had Hurricane Sandy, which was devastating, but all the buildings were spared, and so there were these wooden walls that were put up as sort of a precautionary, we don't know what happens to the buildings, we don't know how they've aged because of this hurricane. And so I saw these wooden walls as like an awesome opportunity to give artists a voice in this like little, 13 by 15-foot platform. So it's a public art project along the Asbury Park boardwalk. I consider the boardwalk its own city, so it has its own challenges, and therefore I have to, as a curator, look at it from the eyes of a 6-year-old, a 12-year-old, an 81-year-old who lives at the senior center on the boardwalk. I wanted something that would inspire everyone, which can be a challenge. In 5 years, we've done 52 projects with people from all over the world. I think our furthest reaching artist is from a remote village in Japan. So I think with every year passing, what happens is you have this beautiful, and this is how community is born. You work with an artist and they say, oh, you should check out this artist. They are doing really cool stuff, or this artist is doing really cool stuff. And they would really, really, really love the vibe of Asbury Park. And so I hear a lot about, it's not about coming to New Jersey to do a mural. It's about coming to paint near the ocean. I would say that 9 times out of 10, artists from other countries or other states have this idea of what they think Asbury Park is. And they basically come here with a sketch, and it's always cute. We do a walk. They pick a wall. They pick a spot. They always change it because they're not ready for the magnificence of the Convention Hall or the Paramount Theater or the Carousel. It's so surreal that we have these huge buildings with these beautiful ornamentations still sort of intact. So I think watching how inspiration inspires creatives is kind of one of the coolest parts about the project. But then what happens by default is that it inspires you as the viewer. So this wasn't something I necessarily would thought you could actually see as a tangible thing. But it's amazing to see like a person who doesn't think that they're an art person, or like, I don't know, you observe them and you're like, oh, they're not gonna look at the art. They're just gonna keep walking by the art. And then they stop in their tracks, and then they look up and they stare. You try to think like, what are they thinking about? And I like to think that like that little moment changed their day, just like looking at the ocean changes your day. So for me, it's more intensified every year with the more visitors we get, just how important it is to give back in a community. And public art is, to me, one of the best ways you can do it because it's free. It changes your experience even for a second. It makes you transported. It gives you like this momentary sense of experience that you're like, I don't know, to see people, it puts a smile on their face. Like, it's that little thing that can grow into something bigger. And I think public art is a great example of that, because you're tricked into thinking that you're not engaging in the arts. And I'm talking about people that would like not go to a museum. So I felt like, again, if it's like my love letter, Asbury, this is like, I've been inspired by this place. It has been my muse, so I want it to be yours as well. And I think the fastest way for me to do that was on the Asbury Park boardwalk, where 1 million people see it every single day. That's just from my point of view. And then there's the whole point of view of what it does for the viewer, and the whole point of view of what it does for the artist. And some of the artists that we have are very established. They do mural projects all over the world, and they always tell me how special this place is and what we have is so special, and hold on to what you have here and protect it. It's so special. And, I think that, but when you hear other people tell you that, what you think, it's a surreal thing. And it's been an amazing journey watching all these three things come together. The viewer, the creator, and the manifester. We all get something from it. Some of us get monetary things from it. Some of us get soulful things from it. Some of us get, during Hurricane Sandy, what are we in? COVID. I would get emails from people that are saying, thank God I can go look at the murals. And to me, that's like something that warms your heart, because like if I didn't have for instance, personally, if I didn't have the ocean, I thought I would lose my mind during this whole COVID experiment. And to think that the murals are that for someone, it fills my heart to no end. And so I think that art is one of those things about giving. It gives in so many different ways. It gives to you as the creator. It gives to you as the viewer, as we were discussing. It gives to you as the person who is just happenstance on the boardwalk, and they see this mural, and all of a sudden they're looking up the artist. It's one of those things where it's an easy way to get people engaged in the arts is to allow them the experience of an unguided vision into someone's mind. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if we activate this space with Hot Tea's installation? So after 5 years of basically begging for this artist to come to Asbury Park because I couldn't find the budget he's accustomed to, I said, listen, come to Asbury Park. I'll pay for you to come here. If you don't find any inspiration, or if you're not totally wooed by this experience, then so be it. It's not for you. So he came here for 24 hours. We walked the entire boardwalk. I showed him everything that inspired me. And at the end of the day, he said, Jen, you were absolutely right. I can't imagine a more perfect space for one of my installations. I am so enamored by this building. I totally get it. There was no way you could have showed me this I'd sent him pictures and all sorts of stuff. And he's like, there's no way I would have understood unless I was standing right here and I could hear the ocean. I could smell the ocean. I could see the cold steel and see the face created in bas relief on the one side. He said, this is an unbelievable thing you have here, and I'm going to come next week and I'm going to start. And it was comprised of 5,380 strings in 36 colors. It was supposed to represent all the colors that you would see in a day. So when you entered the casino, it would be like sunrise to sunset through the colors. And I have to tell you, it taught me so much about our community, just having this installation here, because it was the first thing that I've done or that I've helped facilitate that did exactly what I wanted to do, which was to excite a 7-year-old to an 80-year-old and every walk of life in between. So again, art gives back in a way that person is now, the creator of that project is now changed by that experience. He's changed by our community. He's changed by the fact that he gave a gift to Asbury Park. And I just have to believe, and I'm lucky enough that we live in a bubble here, that I know a lot of people and they get to share their critiques of how seeing the experience of seeing an installation that they can't even fathom, because if you're not an art person and you don't see sculpture, to see something that's 120 feet wide by 100 long by 60 feet wide, it would be akin to seeing a ruin or an old church, or there's something reverent in it that you're not expecting, because you're like, oh, it's public art, And so I think that has inspired me to be like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I need to do bigger things. I need to affect more people. I need to give more of this experience back to artists and viewers and, people that stumble upon it, because I feel like in the world right now, we're losing curiosity and we're losing that experience of being surprised. So for people, we didn't necessarily advertise the project because I wanted I just wanted people to find it. I wanted people to come here and be like, oh my God, I have to tell you, I went to Asbury Park to have lunch, and we walked to see the beach, and there was this giant moving, breathing piece of art. Like, I can't even explain it, but it's breathtaking. That to me is the best gift. It keeps giving, because then that person tells someone else, and then that person's like, oh, I want to come to Asbury Park. And we saw that happen. Word of mouth can still happen. Inspiration by word of mouth can still happen. However, I think that is the way that art should happen. It should happen in the now. It should happen for no reason except for an artist to be able to have a voice to show their vision, and then that vision changes someone else's day, or changes the vibration of the boardwalk, or changes the energy of this building that people think is scary because it's boarded up, but really it's just a work in progress. It's in the now that you realize that, yeah, paintings go, every creator has a work in progress, So when an oil painter does a painting, a realistic painting, there's an underpainting that if you look at, you'd be like, ugh. So I like to think that these murals help people see that this whole town is a work in progress. The boardwalk is a work in progress. It's not something that happens overnight. And I think in the interim, it will be a very sad day when this is developed, period, because there won't be these moments of opportunities to stumble across something that you don't know about. And I think that would be a sad day for me, because it's something that it ends the experience and the inspiration and the gift.